Hi there, Jacki Semerau Tait, and I am here with the very first video for the Card Everyone project. And I am actually very excited to be here with you and have you join along on this project. And I'm also absolutely terrified. Okay, so let me tell you what the Card Everyone project is. He said, if I close a deal, it means $5,000 to me in my bottom line in my pocket. So if I have a business card, then each one of these is not just worth the pennies that it was printed on, but it's actually worth $5,000. So I took that to heart. And from that moment forward, I honestly could never throw away a business card. I couldn't do it. And so over the years, I have collected a box of business cards that honestly, it's a little bit overwhelming at this point, and I'm looking at it going, what am I doing with all of these business cards? Either it's time to throw them in the recycle bin or do something with them. So let me show you. Here's my big box of business cards. And I estimate, you figure a business card box, you get, 500 cards and they come in a box that big. And here's this box this big. I've got to have thousands of cards in here. And what I'm going to do is basically reach into my little box of business cards. I will take one out and I will call this person who most likely I haven't spoken with in a decade or somewhere in that vicinity. I am going to see what happens with it, because the whole thing is, as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, as somebody who lives and dies by her database, right? It's time to do something with his business cards and not just let them sit in a box and collect dust anymore, and certainly not to just throw them into the recycle bin. Okay, so here's the deal. I have to tell you, I was talking to a friend of mine about this, and he said, wow, you're fearless. You must be absolutely fearless to just pick up a business card out of the blue and call somebody. And you know what? Here's the crazy thing. I'm not fearless. Not at all. In fact, this is kind of terrifying. When I call these people, what are they going to say? What are they going to think? Especially, what if they don't even remember who I am, right? So I have all of this garbage going on in my head, to be honest with you, and I have delayed this project. I want to tell you, I thought about doing this about a year ago, and I've delayed this project because I kept giving myself excuses, right? The time just wasn't right. I wasn't quite sure what I was going to do with it. And then, as I got a little bit of clarity, I sat down and I really kind of penciled it out to say, well, let's not just call all of these people. Let's actually do this publicly. Let's do a video blog about this process, and let's keep track, and we can kind of keep track together, and we can figure out what's going to happen with each of these cards. Now, I have guesses as to what's going to happen. I think it's going to end up being the 80-20 rule, right? That seems to prove to be true in a lot of circumstances. So if the 80-20 rule is true, then maybe only 20% of these people are actually going to want to reconnect with me and potentially do business with me in one of my many ventures. And 80% of them are probably going to blow me off. Either they're not going to have their same contact information anymore, and I'm not going to be able to get a hold of them. Maybe I only met them really briefly at a networking event or an expo, and they have no idea who I am, and they think I'm nuts for reaching out to them after, 5 years, 10 years, whatever the case may be. And the bottom line of it is that I have all these fears going on in my head, and I would be totally lying if I said, but it doesn't matter, I'm just chugging away. No, I came up with this idea like a year ago, and it's finally time to just bite the bullet and do it. Yes, I am doing it afraid. I am also doing it imperfectly prepared. Once I finally came up with the idea, the plan, I knew what I was going to do with this, then I started to get a little bit hung up in my own head. Like, oh, well, if I'm going to do this on video, I need to lose some weight first, okay? Because I don't want to be on video with these extra few pounds that I've gained. Guess what? Haven't lost the weight. I'm coming at it. I'm doing it anyway. There it is. What's another? Oh, I have to get, if I'm going to be doing this on video, then I have to get my office absolutely clean. Like, I do not like this couch that's behind me. I better get a new couch. No. Guess what? Couch is staying, and we're going. There's my office right there. You can see I got a little bit into my head about, see these piles right here? Piles of paperwork lined up, and not everything is perfectly organized. And I thought, okay, I've got to go through all those piles of paperwork. I've got to get everything cleared off. Well, guess what? That's not real life. We're going to just go on this adventure together. And I am terrified. I'm terrified I'm going to sound like an idiot because, frankly, like, I've thought about it in my head, like, what does that sound like for me to call? But I'm not a script girl. I'm not going to write down the script of what I'm going to say because that's not how I personally do any of my calls. I feel like it's a little disingenuous. And then, of course, what happens if somebody, they don't know on the other end of the phone that they're doing the script? So what if they go off script and then I'm left going like, I don't know what I'm talking about. So I don't believe in like word by word scripts, but I do believe in having a plan and having an idea as to what I'm going to say and how I'm going to approach these people. And I'm not going to just call them out of the blue and say, hey, so by the way, here's who I am and here's what I'm doing now, and would you like to do business with me? No, I actually want to reconnect with these people. So, of course, what would be better than to add on to that fear by doing this publicly, because that adds a whole new level. Basically, what I'm going to do, you guys are going to follow along. I'm going to call these people on speakerphone so you can listen to the conversation. You can watch me reconnect. So the reason I'm doing this too is because this is real life. And the reason I'm doing it publicly is not just to have you kind of come along on the adventure and maybe be there to encourage me if I get down. It's a social experiment so that you can see what it takes to reconnect with people, that I am not doing this perfectly, that I am just a girl who needs to drum up some business. And I'm going to do it by looking back into my database. And some people have databases that they can go on online, and I do have that database. And we're, once we dig through this box of cards, I will probably do the next level, which is going to be the database thing. And part of this is going to be updating my database as well. But in the end of the day, we're just going to do something creative to get back in touch with some people and try and drum up some business. So yeah, I'm a little afraid. And yeah, there's the garbage in my head that says if it's the 80-20 rule, then that means 80% of the phone calls that I'm going to make to this great big box of business cards are going to think I'm crazy, tell me no, have changed their information, not remember me worth anything, laugh in my face, whatever the case may be. 80% of these people are going to tell me to take a hike or not tell me anything at all. But 20% of them, I think, will do business with me. So we're also going to track the numbers, and we're going to figure out exactly what percentages of people I'm reconnecting with and doing business with. I want to see how many people, when we take this card, how many people are actually still at the same company that they were. I almost guarantee you that's going to be a huge number of, no, people have changed. We're going to come up with some real world data to see where have people gone over the last decade. Am I able to reconnect with these people? What percentage of people am I able to drum up some business with, or that I can do business with them? So that's the other thing too, right? I mean, networking is everything, and that's where I have come up with all of these business cards in the first place, is through the extensive networking that I've done over the years. So let's not put that to waste. Let's actually do something with it. So together we're going to figure this out. Thank you so much for joining along in this project. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, like this video, all that good stuff, and please feel free to leave a comment. Tell me what you think is going to happen with this project. I'm pretty excited about it, and I'm going to do it perfectly imperfect and a little bit afraid, and I'm going to plug forward anyway. So thanks for joining me.